This is
Make it plain.
Make it plain.
MIP
With Masamela Matfumo.
Mark Thompson.
Make it plain.
Get woke.
Murphy of New Jersey, here as we broadcast live from the Democratic National Convention. Governor Murphy meets Stacey Brown, Chief Correspondent of the National Newspaper Publishers Association.
Honors.
The Black Press, President of the National Newspaper Publishers Association.
President of New Jersey.
Where?
In Montclair.
I love that, the People's Republic.
Yeah.
I love that.
How are you, man? This is the
I'm
second
doing
time.
great. Thanks for having me.
This is the second time, isn't it?
Big week. I mean, we've had an extraordinary month as a party and as a nation, and this is going to be a big week.
What are you most expecting to be the takeaway from this experience this week?
I think we'll see the president tonight in an extraordinary moment, maybe unmatched since Bobby Kennedy walking out of Atlantic City all those years ago, great state of New Jersey. And we're going to see the torch passed, I think, seamlessly to Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. I really believe that. There's as much excitement in the party right now as I can recall.
Yeah.
It's as diverse excitement, including age. We have young people excited, which is something that I think we were all a little bit concerned about. Black, brown, women, men, LGBTQIA, college-educated, non. A lot of the vectors are pointing in a good direction right now. You can never take anything for granted.
Yeah, of course.
We got to work our tail off for the next 2.5 months. We all know that. And we're up against a formidable foe. But, boy, I'll tell you, I'd rather be playing our hand than their hand right now.
You know, Governor, we often hear about the stimulus checks from the pandemic. And, you know, then President Trump signed those stimulus checks, $1,200. But I want folks to know that over the past, I think since 2018 or 2019, New Jersey residents have been getting twice a year, I believe, $1,500.
Yeah.
These are property tax rebates.
Yes.
And these are real checks. And you know why I know they're real? Because I got a couple of them.
I love you.
But Governor, having said all that, let me ask you this. We talked about the enthusiasm of the vice president.
Love her.
Prior to that, though, a lot of family business, Democratic family business, was aired out in the public.
Yes.
What was that like for you? A long time, loyalist to the party. What was that like? And frankly, where did you stand in all of that?
Well, listen, first of all, you're absolutely right about the property tax rebates. It's the Anchor program, and we means test most of our programs in New Jersey. So if you make less than $150,000 and you're a senior, you hit the jackpot. If you make less than $250,000, you're still doing darn well. So God bless you for
He never cast his check. He don't even know it's there. He doesn't wait to his mail. That's a bill.
That helps us in our surplus at the end of the year in New Jersey. Where was I? I'm a loyal guy. So my wife and I threw Joe Biden's last fundraiser, actually 2 nights after the debate. We had always seen this as perhaps not uncompetitive, but that the vice president was always in a very good position. This consolidated, this is almost like a lightning bolt. You all saw it as I did. At 1:46 in the afternoon on that Sunday, July 21st, and everything started to fall into place. If that had been a year earlier, my guess is we would have had a number of folks looking at this, which is, by the way, not a bad thing. But the vice president consolidated this in an extraordinary fashion, certainly with help by endorsement from the president, and the rest is history. I don't think we've had in our party, perhaps in political, in either party in our history, have we had a 4-week and 1-day period like the one that we've just had.
So, Governor, what can you say about voter turnout? And because the margins, not just in the swing states, but even in all of the states, you should not take any vote for granted.
100%.
We represent the black press of America. How important would you say the black press would be to help make sure that would be a massive voter turnout in America.
Hugely important. I mean, I come from the school of Al Gore winning the black vote 92-8, John Kerry 94-6. I won the black vote twice 94-6, and I wouldn't have been elected nor reelected without the black vote.
Certainly.
So, and the black press has an enormous role to play. One of my mentors in life was Julian Bond. I served on the national board of the NAACP, and that's a lesson I learned from Julian way back when, who, by the way, left us far too soon. That's a separate observation.
Sure.
But turnout is huge, and it's not just the margin; it's the volume. And we had an uncomfortable. I think all of us had a sort of an uncomfortable feeling a month to 3 months ago.
Yes.
The turnout,
Enthusiasm
was not necessarily there. The margins were a little tighter than we'd like. I think we've turned that back, but we can't take any of that for granted. And the black press plays an enormously important role in making that turnout happen.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Thank you.
So, you're feeling good. You mentioned, we all do, you mentioned this is hard work, though.
Yeah,
But it looks like the numbers are getting better every day.
they are. So here's the way I think about it. We're up,
Yeah.
but it's middle to late third quarter. And as we've seen too many times over the years, you can sort of check the box and think you've won it, and guess what? They catch you. So the key for us right now is let's be exuberant about the past 4 weeks and a day.
Right.
Let's thank President Biden for a selfless act, almost unlike any in our nation's history. But let us drop the hammer. Let us not take one thing for granted, because we are up against, whether we like it or not, a formidable foe, and we must win this.
Before we let you go, and I know Mark will obviously have the last question, but obviously some relationships have to be mended after what happened.
Yep.
Do you foresee that happening
Yes.
in the near future?
I'm highly confident. Again, this is an unusual period of a month that we've never lived through before, but I'm highly confident that will happen. And that's what we need. I was the national finance chair for the Democratic National Committee in 2008. And when Barack Obama became the putative nominee in early June, I think it was June 4th when he won Indiana, California, there was a lot of tension, a lot of bad blood between the camps. And the commitment then was, you know what, we have to find a way to come together. It didn't happen overnight, but it happened, and he won. And I feel like there may be tension. It's a fraction of what it was in 08. And I'm highly confident we will all get together on this one. There's too much at stake to be otherwise.
Lastly, I just want to be sure, and I'm sorry, I should know this.
No worries.
This is your second term.
My second term, I'm term limited.
You are term limited.
So I am governor of New Jersey until January of 2026.
So what's next for you?
I don't know. I may come back and be one of you guys.
Come on and join us.
I love this.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but a classmate of mine, it seems as if, and he has entered the race and made an announcement, the mayor from Newark.
Yo, I love him.
Are you endorsing? Will you get involved?
No,
in
it's
that?
a crowded field. So
Is it really? I didn't know.
Yeah.
Win. Okay.
There are going to be 5 or 6 Democrats and 4 or 5 Republicans. I love Raz.
Yeah.
I love him. He's done a great job. He continues to do a great job in so many respects. There's a handful of communities, you all know this.
Yep.
As they go, Jersey goes, and Newark is at the head of that list.
Great
job.
And he's done a great job. I think the world of the guy. But in terms of an actual endorsement, only because there's a crowded field of a lot of qualified folks, I'm going to sit back for now.
And you got over another year left. You don't need no enemies.
I got a year and a half to go. I need Raz and everybody else on my side.
And condolences as well, because you lost, was it last year, the lieutenant governor?
A year ago, 2 weeks ago, Sheila Oliver, who was a giant.
No question.
And died suddenly, and God rest her soul. She was an icon, and her memory is an icon. We've been fortunate enough to have another superstar step in, Tahisha Way, who's our Secretary of State of New Jersey. The Lieutenant Governor has to have a day job in one of the cabinet positions.
Certainly, okay.
So Sheila was the head of the Department of Community Affairs. Tahisha's the head of the Secretary of State, which is elections and all the stuff that is so important, and she's a rock star as well. But
So the Lieutenant Governor has to have a day job. So unlike North Carolina, if you leave, like you're here, the Lieutenant Governor. Yeah, what you get
I can't even, guys, I can't even begin on that guy. And I saw Trump the other day in Raleigh giving him a lot of kudos. I'm thinking this guy is, and my buddy Roy Cooper,
Yeah.
to your point, has to be careful about leaving the state.
And I'm sure that in and into the calculus, because he was in the list,
Yes.
I'm sure that had to go into the calculus.
He didn't say that to me, but it had to be.
Yeah, that's...
How could you be campaigning in a battleground state and have the other guy running the state?
Yeah. God bless you, my friend.
I love it. God bless you, Reverend.
Good to see you.
They're yanking me. Good to see you. I'll see you back home.
No, that was good. Thank you for the time, man.
Take care. Thanks
we'll
for
see you
having me.
soon.
I'll see you.
Governor Phil Murphy of New Jersey, as we are broadcasting live from DNC. Lisa Sharon Harper joins us from
everyone.
Freedom Road.
Hi, nice to
Dr.
meet you.
Chavis, how are you?
I am very well, thank you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. So, how are you finding the convention, and what are you hoping to see and hear and have accomplished? I think I already know, but I want everybody else to hear from you.
Well,
I know how she thinks. We text each other all the time.
We do. Good
And
friends.
I'm trying to keep her on her best behavior.
Oh, goodness. Well, I don't know. You're going to have to try very hard. No, I'm actually really excited for what I see happening in the stadium. When I flew into Chicago, you could feel the energy. You could feel the hope.
Right.
And you could feel the love. Even on the plane, there was kind of a different feeling on the plane. My plane coming in from Philadelphia, hello, somebody, right?
All right.
From Philly was packed at 6 a.m.
Wow.
Okay, 6 a.m. And so, there's a lot of energy and a lot of hope right now.
There is. Obviously, the big issue for you and a lot of us is Gaza.
Yes.
So where do you stand? Now, I had to say to another friend of ours, Du Bois wrote about how we as black people have to navigate two irreconcilable strivings, double consciousness while we're here in this country. How are you navigating the two irreconcilable strivings?
You have seen me navigate this, right? And I mean, here's the thing, as a black woman, we live on the bottom rung of the hierarchy of human belonging in the United States of America. And I strongly believe in what Dr. King said, which is injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So when I saw what was happening in Gaza, there was no way that I could stand silent, and even in the face of Kamala Harris now accepting the nomination for the presidency, I cannot allow that to overshadow the reality that injustice is happening and therefore threatening black women and black men and black children and black families everywhere. As Gaza goes, so we can go. So it's imperative that we actually stand up for justice for the people of Gaza and Palestine as well.
Yeah, so are you, there's an issue now before us, and I've not shared this with others yet. The Palestinian community, well, allegedly, there will be hostage families, or one hostage family speaking this week. They still haven't got real confirmation on that, but let's assume for a moment that's true. The Palestinian community is advocating, and others are advocating, that there should be an affected Palestinian family. This lost loved ones. Right.
I mean, this is America. This is the United States of America. We have a pluralistic society. Our society does not only represent one side of that equation, and we need everyone's votes. So therefore, all of the people groups that are affected by this conflict need to be represented. And I mean, I'm working with evangelicals for Harris.
That's right.
Right? So this is a faith-based, faith-rooted, grassroots movement that literally kind of rose out of nowhere and is calling on us to reach for our best selves, to be our best selves, to actually draw from love. How can we do that? How can we live? How can Kamala, how can Tim Walz, how can anyone who goes up to that platform call for us to be people of love and hope and freedom, and yet not fight for the freedom equally for the people of Palestine?
That's right.
And that means that we need to give the uncommitted voters a voice on that stage. We need to give a Palestinian person a voice on that stage. Otherwise, we have no integrity with which to call for freedom anywhere else in the world.
Do you feel that she has, however, spoken and in a different voice and kind of distinguished herself from the rest of the Biden administration?
That is, and you have no idea how many people, on my Instagram feed, I post and I have put forward messages that have lifted up the ways that I see her tacking away from the Biden policies. But she is the vice president. She's not the president. She literally does not have the ability to create policy. She only has the ability as the vice president to support the policies of the president. So the reality is we don't know yet what her policies are. What we do know is how she feels. We know that she's disgusted by the death that she sees.
Right.
We know that she has called ceasefire. That was also something that the Biden administration called for, but she was the first to utter the words ceasefire in that administration. That gives me hope.
Yeah.
It gives me hope that when she spoke with Netanyahu, she told enough of the business that happened in there that he got mad at her because he was going to try to spin it, but she did not allow him the space to spin.
That was not a friendly photograph. It wasn't a warm one like us taking a selfie.
Exactly.
The body language was clear.
Exactly. So that's what gives me hope.
Yeah.
It gives me hope that on the other side of this election, when she wins, that we will have a president who not only understands from a human point of view what it's like to be a mother, what it's like she actually has mothered the children of her husband, what it's like to feel and actually connect with another person through compassion. But she also will be someone who will move us forward in policy and shift direction.
You know, Dr. Chavis and Lisa, we have a tendency in this country, especially those of us who are the most progressive and furthest to the left, to raise questions 120 days before an election. We don't start after the election day in November to build third parties or to change cultures and conditions. So I was having a conversation with Linda Sarsour this morning and with Joy Reid. And we're talking about, well, how do we make sure we're not in this position again? And I said, well, first of all, we can't wait 70 days out to change a culture whereby African-American leaders and electeds pay an extraordinary price for defending Palestinian people and Palestinian causes. Because that's what happens. And in fairness, being kind of in the middle of a lot of these talks between the campaign and the movement, well, Mark, if she goes too far, they'll town like Jesse. They'll take her out. And I don't mind disclosing, there are those who are still crying anti-Semitism because she did not pick Shapiro. We as Black folk, the anti-Semitism criticism hits us harder, and we usually have to pay a heavier price. Chuck Schumer can say, we need regime change in Israel, and literally nothing happened to him. We said, oh, no. You, as Black folk, are infantilized. You cannot speak in that way. So at some point, we have to figure out a way that we can say things and build an environment that there are no consequences for the political positions we take versus the political positions of others. Because that is in the calculus. It's not just that she will be the president, prayerfully, we believe that, but being a Black president and a Black woman president, a president of color, that alone, in this environment, compromised, and she's done a lot saying what she's saying. A whole lot of folk wouldn't have even risked that And the further she goes,
It's actually really true.
you know, so
Yeah.
so that's a whole nother piece of this, Lisa, that we're treated different when we speak certain truths to things.
Can I say one thing, and then I actually do want to hear what Dr. Shea has to say, is that I think that her choice not to go with Shapiro was incredibly courageous and showed us something about her and about us. Because the fear that you put forward is one that would actually make many people not have done that and gone with him, because the tidal wave of the media and the pundits were all in his favor. And yet she did not go there. And if she had, it would have, I believe, ripped apart the Democratic Party for a generation. The next generation or two would not have gone with the Democratic Party. They would have been disillusioned completely.
Agreed.
That said, the choice that she made, the way that it was responded to by the rest of the country, it showed us something. I think that we are ready. We are ready to see the truth because we've all seen it on Instagram. We are watching this genocide. We can't be messaged in the same way that you were usually messaged around this issue, because we've seen the dead bodies.
So, I was the youngest person on Dr. King's staff.
Wow.
So I've been working on moving along. Now, I remember in 1967, Dr. King spoke out against the Vietnam War. It was really criticized because they said that was anti.
Yeah.
But now people realize that Dr. King was right. Why do I make reference to that? Yes, he said, an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So we have to look at where the threats to justice are going on. And I think that what I would want to see happen is for the Israelis and the Palestinians to sit down, not just have proxies, but sit down at a table. I believe in the oneness of humanity. I teach a course at Duke University right now. I kind of startle my students when I say, look, the truth is there's only one race, the human race. But we can't allow these forces of history to divide, to make us think one group of the human race is less desirous to live over another group of the human race.
That's exactly right.
That to me, I would say, Dr. King would also say today, inhumanity in a way is a threat to humanity everywhere.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward. I was asked to participate. I have an enormous number of Jewish friends that I work with even today. And we have these discussions. I went to Israel recently and I wanted to speak to my Palestinian brothers and sisters, and they allowed me. I spoke to the Palestinian Authority while I was in Israel. But my thing is, we have to tone down, in my view, some of this hate, some of this, the absence of love, the absence of respect. You say you're working with evangelicals.
Yeah.
I really think, even on a spiritual plane, we have to see each other's humanity,
Amen.
not each other's inhumanity.
Yes.
So that's kind of where I come from. I want to say that I think in every tragedy, and certainly in the Middle East right now, it's a tragedy. What can we learn from this tragedy? So history doesn't repeat itself. It's so unfortunate that sometimes the tragedy makes us become tragic ourselves, rather than rising above it to try to make sure that this never happens again. So I have not lost hope. I believe in a two-state resolution.
Yeah.
But I believe that we have to facilitate not the pointing of fingers, but the embracing of our common humanity. That's where I come.
Amen. Amen.
Thanks for getting woke and listening to Make It Plain. As always, perform an act of kindness on behalf of an elder or young person. Write a letter to a sister or brother who just so happens to find her or himself incarcerated. Offer libations to the ancestors upon whose sturdy shoulders we all now stand, and above all, give thanks to the God of your understanding by whatever name you call her and him. All God asks of us is that we give each other love. Thanks for giving MIP love, and please remember to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. If all hearts and minds are clear, it has been made plain.